Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to I'm Not Repeating Myself podcast. I'm your host, Mike, and I hope you heard what I said the first time because I'm not repeating myself. Glad everybody can be with me on this good Monday. Please always make sure you subscribe to me on Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud, and of course on YouTube. I'm on TikTok I'm on TikTok at I'm Not Repeating Myself Pod, and I'm also on Instagram at I'm Not Repeating Myself Pod. Hope everybody had a good weekend, man. Glad y'all tapping in with me. This is episode 25, man. 25 straight weeks in this motherfucker, man. God damn, boy, time flies, man. So proud of myself, man. Told y'all when I was gonna come around and do this solo shit, man, I was gonna turn up even more than what I did previously, man. Cause honestly, looking at my podcast history, man, I've been podcasting since December 2016, December 18th, 2016 to be exact, and ran it up for 8 years with We're Just Messengers, and just reflecting on my journey, man, it's truly been a blessing, man. And to imagine I'm already 25 weeks in, that's insane, bro. But when you do what you love, man, it don't really feel like that. I know it's a cliche saying, but that's a real feeling, man. So 25 straight weeks, man. I'm just happy to be here. 25 more after that, 25 more after that, 25 more after that, 25 more after that. So just glad that y'all can take this ride with me, man. So again, I hope everybody had a good weekend. My weekend was pretty good, man. We're going to go ahead and start this thing off, man. We're going to get right into it, man. We had Cash Money versus No Limit Verzuz at Complex Con in Vegas. That took place Saturday. And I spoke about this last episode in terms of, what I was anticipating, who was going to show up, how the set was going to be, and all type of stuff. And all I had to say is, man, it was a good Verzuz. It really was a great Verzuz. The energy was there. I feel like No Limit had a little bit more energy, but the Cash Money side, they definitely bring the energy. They played all type of bangers. It was a great show. My only slight is Complex cut the shit short, and Manny Fresh got on. It might have been like an hour 10, 15 minutes into the set, and Manny was like, yo, it's not us. It's not No Limit. They telling us we only got about 4 minutes left, so we gonna go ahead and do a few more. Then we got to get up out of here. I'm like, what? Like, this what we doing, bro? Like, nah, that was crazy. So that's my only slight. Like, Complex, y'all wrong as hell for cutting that shit down. Because usually what we know in the Verzuz to be is 20 songs each. They only got to play like, I want to say 11, 12 each or something like that. Like, right when they was getting into the thick of it, bro. Like, really when it was starting to turn up. But nonetheless, for the records and the time that they did have on stage, it was a great set. It was a great set. I want to say shout out to Mia X. I think she was the MVP of the Verzuz. Her and Juvie collectively, I'll probably give her the slight edge. She was just into it. You could tell that they was prepared. They ultimately love what they was doing. Like, Juvie and Mia X brung it, bro. They brung it. Not saying nobody else didn't, but them two were the standouts of the whole Verzuz. Mia X and Juvie got busy, man. They had the crowd into it. I will say, I wish it was probably in New Orleans. No shot to Vegas. Vegas, the crowd was dope or whatever. But if it was in New Orleans, oh, man, the roof would have came off that motherfucker. But, again, shout out to Mia X and Juvie, man. They was getting busy. Those would be my MVPs for the Verzuz because they definitely showed up. Snoop came out on the last record, Down for My Niggas. He was able to perform that. On the Cash Money side, they kind of ended tail off because they cut it short, but then they finished off with Millie, but Wayne wasn't there. And then, of course, they finished up with Back That, because I'm like, bro, there's no way they're going to leave off on the Millie, but they ended up playing Back That Ass Up. BG was out there. The real representatives for Cash Money was BG, Juvie, Manny, and Birdman, excuse me. And No Limit side, they pretty much had everybody. Mac was out there. Chopper was out there. Again, Mia. Romeo even made an appearance. Romeo came out. Romeo probably came out like around, probably like towards the end when they was doing Bout It. And Ice Cream Man. And it was somewhere in between that time frame. But man, they both parties run the energy. But No Limit, I feel like No Limit came to make a statement. Like, honestly, I think the shit was a tie. But if I have to give the edge to somebody, I probably would say No Limit Edge, No Limit Edge, and I'm biased towards Cash Money. I still like again, if it was left up to me, I would say it was a tie because it was that great of a performance. I just wish Turk and Wayne could have been out there. That's the only thing. That's probably why I give No Limit the edge as far as the victory, as far as the if I had to pick a winner. But man, it was a great performance, man. It was a great performance. I think I even seen Kelly Price up there. I think I see Kelly Price up there on the stage, man. That shit was a dope event, man. It was a great versus, man, because I like I said, I didn't know as far as who was gonna show up, what the energy was gonna be like. Both parties brung it. Both parties brung it. But they should have performed longer, man. That's the only gripe. And I heard Wayne wasn't out there because Turk wasn't out there. And of course, that's one of the things that I spoke about on the last episode when I was talking about in terms of who was going to be out there, who's going to show up. I know Turk had a little, static with the whole, Cash Money crew and shit like that. But I heard that's the reason why Wayne didn't show up. Wayne wasn't going to perform unless all the Cash Money artists was up there. So, again, shout out to everybody. BG brung it. BG brought the energy. Shout out to Silk the Shocker. Silk the Shocker still did his thing, Everybody's the nigga can't rap or beat and shit like that. But Silk got some bangers though. No Limit really sat down with their set. I can honestly say that No Limit really came prepared as far as what songs they was gonna do, the structure and everything that came with it. But man, they showed out, man. Mia was I think she was like really the highlight of the verses. Mia just was brung it. And you could tell that this because somebody told me actually because I said before I didn't know in the last time I had seen No Limit together, but apparently they have been touring together, so they was prepared. This is something that they do on a regular basis. So man, they was getting busy, man. They brought out all the bangers. Like I said, About It, Ice Cream Man, Make 'Em Say of course, and Chopper Style. I mean, 504 Boys. I mean, it was an event of an event, man. For the duration that they had, it was an event. But man, if they would have had this in New Orleans, I think we probably talking about arguably the best verses. If this is in New Orleans, this might top Jada with the Locks and Dipset. This might top that. If this was in New Orleans, this might top as the best verse because it was just that dope, man. Birdman, of course, when they was wrapping up at the end, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna play the clip of him basically talking about, the come up and then, him talking about Turkish shit like that. Let me go ahead and play this. Birdman is crazy, man.
Do something different in the game. I had started this shit young. I was a young man trying to get some money and not be in the streets. And I met BG, I met Wayne, I met Juvie, I met Turk. Shout out to Turk, you little bitch. You ain't here, but fuck you. We gon' fuck with you and we won't fuck with you. You heard me? Don't go off script, nigga. We gon' fuck with that bitch when we won't fuck with her. But that's another movie. But ain't no, Cash Money. When one nigga died, I ain't gonna say died, because we lost a lot of soldiers. But Cash Money ain't built on you leave, you can't, we gonna still multiply. Let's go. Cash Money ain't gonna never die. As long as I'm alive, hold on, Fresh, wait, Fresh. Long as I'm alive, Cash Money ain't gonna never die. Shout out to my nigga NBA Youngboy, NBA Rich Gang.
Shout out to Birdman, man. And anybody knows Birdman, he really wasn't really saying fuck Turk. That's just how New Orleans people, that's how they talk to each other. Like context matters. Like he wasn't really disrespecting them. So I think Turk got on live and said the reason why him and Wayne wasn't there. But Birdman is crazy, bro. But essentially he was showing him love, bro. So whatever differences they gotta hash out, I guess that'll be handled. But man, I wish he would have been up there because I wasn't gonna play a Millie if Wayne wasn't there. I'm like, bro, why would y'all play that record if he wasn't there? Then when they played Bling Bling, Wayne wasn't there. They played Project Bitch. Wayne got the second verse on the record. He wasn't there to, of course, Juvie and BG collectively rapped the verse, but it just wouldn't have been the same. If Wayne was there, I think we probably arguably talking about one of the best performances because at Louisiana Fest, Wayne had everybody up there. Turk was up there. All the Cash Money was up there at the last Louisiana Fest, bro. So that's the only gripe those are really my two gripes from the verses. The fact that they cut the shit short and that Wayne and Turk wasn't there. Other than that, it was a great performance, man. It was a great performance. I really was surprised Romeo was there. I really was surprised Romeo showed up. I thought he was about to perform one of his records, but he was right there, and it was you could tell that nobody up there looked uncomfortable. Nobody up there looked uncomfortable. Everybody looked like they was ready to perform. They was ready to lock in. Everybody looked like they was having a great time, man. And that's what it's really about at the end of the day. Coming together, two pillars in rap history, especially from the city of New Orleans. Like, without a doubt, both legends out of New Orleans, prominent in the late 90s, mid 90s, late 90s, going into 2000s, as far as putting the South on the map. They were very important with the South rise in hip hop. When it came to the late night, you couldn't turn on the radio and not hear a Cash Money or No Limit record, especially from P side. P was putting out albums out of that camp damn near every month, if not every other week, it seemed like. So it was just a time, and it really takes you back to that time and feel. And the fact that, even though the crowd wasn't a New Orleans crowd, they was really engaged. And I can honestly say, man, I wish they could do a part 2, man. That's the only thing. But when it comes to Verzuz, you only going to really get a part 1. But if they get a part 2 and they could do that shit in New Orleans, like do it in the Dome, oh, man. You definitely talk about a cultural moment, man. It definitely was a cultural moment. But shout out to everybody came to perform. Nobody looked uncomfortable. Everybody knew their words. It was just, the energy was there. Like, No Limit really came, when it came to the energy, No Limit. Not saying Cash Money didn't have it, but collectively as a group, No Limit didn't come to fuck around. They didn't come to fuck around. Cash Money just had them hits. I'm talking about with Stay Fly came on and Project Bitch came on, and it was just everybody was engaged. And then even the camps, like both the camps are showing each other love and all that. You could tell, like, when each camp was playing their record, the other camp was just like, yeah, I mean, that's what it really is about at the end of the day. Of course, P and Birdman, they had their differences or whatever the case may be. But they was giving each other their roses, and that's how it should be, man. As we continue to age in hip hop, everybody coming together, celebrating each other, because that's what it's about at the end of the day, man. But again, man, my highlights out of that performance again was Juvie, Mia X, man. Man, they got busy. They performed their ass off. You can tell this is what they really wanted to do, and they wanted to show out. So next time Verzuz, man, matter, I don't know if this is a Verzuz, a complex thing. But don't you dare ever, before they get to at least play 20 records, cut that shit short like that, man. Y'all ain't had nothing else going on. That was the last event of the night. There's no reason why. Man, he should have came up around the 11th song mark talking about, oh, we only got 4. Well, hell no. That shit was just turning the fuck up. Like, it was getting crazy in there, man. It was getting crazy. And them niggas cut that shit short. I was shitting. I'm like, nah, hell no. Y'all trash for that. Complex shouldn't have their hand on that shit next time. So don't do that again. I don't know if that was a Verzuz and Complex collaborative thing, or that was just a Complex thing. But hell no, because if you're gonna book a Verzuz, bro, you should know the history of Verzuz. In the history of Verzuz, you have each party play at least 20 records. Then you pack. You don't come through on the 10th, 11th song mark talking about you got 4 minutes left. Nigga, you're bugging. Hell no, we ain't doing that, bro. But again, shout out to the Cash Money No Limit Verzuz, man. It was a dope Verzuz. And, whatever Timbaland and Swiss got lined up next, man, hopefully it could bring the same type of energy and impact. But man, Wayne and Turk should have been there, man. Damn, they should have been there, bro. But I understand Wayne's gripe, because I understood. I didn't anticipate Turk being there. I kind of prepared myself for that, but I thought at the least Wayne would have been there. But when Turk got on there and said what he said, that's understandable. Wayne is loyal. One thing I can't take away from Wayne is loyal. And like I said, based off the last Louisiana Fest, when all of them was up there, it made sense as to why he wasn't up there. But damn, man, if he should have been up there, bro, because I mean that's the guy. That's the main guy when it comes to Cash Money history, bro. Like, so shout out to everybody, man. Glad to see my legends is growing great in health, and because a lot of them, you got to think too, for them to have the energy that they have, a lot of them is 50, shit, not even 50. Some of them 55 and up. I think Juvie just turned 50. BG might be the youngest. BG and Silk probably might be the young. I think no, Silk is 50. Silk is 50, P 55, Birdman 55, about to be 56, Manny 50, Juvie 50. I think BG probably youngest because Mia she 50. Yeah, I think BG and probably Chopper might be the youngest. BG is 45. So Chopper got to be at least late 40s, early 50s. So for them to, and P was getting it. P was on the stage, high stepping and everything. Like, dog, that can't go unnoticed for somebody who's 55 years old. So you could tell that they was prepared for this and they was ready to get busy. You know, Manny and Birdman, they came with their own swagger and shit like that. Juvie, of course, he was in his bag. Juvie wasn't fucking around. BG came out there, did his thing. And I want to highlight BG too, because what BG did early in his career to be 15, 16, 17 years old with Cash Money putting out the albums on that front end like he was, you got to think, BG's probably fifth, sixth album, he was 23 years old. He was 23 years old, but like Chopper City in the Ghetto, he was 19, bruh. You got to think, a nigga like that putting an album out that at 19 years old, bruh, that's some legendary shit. So I got to give BG his roses because BG came in the game and kicked the door down too with Cash Money. For him to be putting out the albums that he was putting out at that age and that time frame, 17, 18, 19, out the gates with arguably like 2, 3 classics, like, he wasn't fucking around, bro. He was not fucking around. That nigga was a legend by the time he was 23, 24 years old. A lot of people can't say that. So I want to give BG his proper roses because that nigga definitely was impactful in terms of Cash Money and definitely had a big imprint in terms of what he did. Juvie came out the gates with 400 Degrees, arguably one of the best rap albums, period, especially from the representing the South. 400 Degrees just had a big imprint when that shit touched down in 98, bro. Again, 1998. 1998, again, is one of the greatest years ever. But when 400 Degrees touched down, yeah, it was like, these niggas ain't going nowhere. That's really what it was. Them niggas was not going nowhere, man. I wish they was able to play balling. Like, again, Wayne should have been there for this performance. But again, salute to y'all. Thank y'all for putting on a great show, man. So moving on next. I wanna highlight Gucci, man, because I watched his Breakfast Club interview, you know, with him and his wife Keisha Kayor, and I want to highlight Gucci, man, and having accountability, man. I want to definitely give him his props because it's not easy, especially us as black men, to get on a national big platform like the Breakfast Club and express your faults and hold yourself accountable and say, yeah, I was having problems. Yeah, I need to go get help. Yes, I was wilding. And on top of that, saying I did, you know, extend apologies for everything that I did, because I do remember that Twitter rant 2013 Gucci had, and I remember like it was yesterday. I was at work and I'm like looking at the timeline and I was like, damn, I didn't have Twitter at the time. So I just caught it through Instagram. And I'm seeing all these tweets. I'm like, hell no, it's no way Gucci going out like that, bro. It's no way. Come to find out this shit was real. So, and if anybody remember, that was really like a moment in like Twitter history, Gucci Mane's rant 2013. And for him to sit back and reflect and realize that, you know, he was having issues and he was, you know, just trying to block it out by putting out music and all that, you know, that takes a lot of courage, man. And I want to give Gucci his props because it's not, a lot of people lack accountability. So for him to have that accountability and say it, especially publicly, I gotta give him his props for that, because that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, to look yourself in the mirror and say, yes, I do have a problem. Yes, I did do this person wrong. Yes, I do need to go sit down and talk to somebody. Yes, I need to go to rehabilitation. So, and it's great to see how Gucci has aged as well. Like when he got out of jail, he got himself right. I always say on the show, man, get in the gym. Get your ass in the gym. Like Gucci, he got in the gym. He got his body right. Getting your body right will do a lot for you. It could definitely help your mental too. So Gucci, and he steadily has been on that path. Like he looks great. He looks in shape. You know, he's looking healthy, and he got his wife by his side. Shout out to Keisha, man. She definitely held him down. And she spoke about moments herself when, you know, she felt like as if, you know, she was going to lose him, but she stuck by him and she helped him get through it. And that's just love at the end of the day. There's really no secret recipe to it. Like, basically, when I heard her talking on that Breakfast Club interview, I just saw a woman that just loved her man. That's essentially all it was. Like somebody who loved her man to the point where, nah, I'm gonna stay here. We gonna get this right. You gonna be right because she held him down. She held him down for them years that he was locked up. I remember when they was talking about how he had money stolen from him. Like he really couldn't trust nobody. Gucci was saying, I couldn't even trust my own mom. And he asked her, to basically kind of oversee that for him, and she did. And ever since he got home from jail, like she has stuck by that dude. And I honestly feel like, and he would say it, if she wasn't there, I don't think Gucci probably would be here. And for Gucci to be here, 20 years later, because when he came out, he was kicking down the door too. And I can't say that honestly, I was a big Gucci fan. I kind of really heard of him because of Jeezy. I was a big Jeezy fan. So when So Icy dropped, that's how I caught ear Gucci. But Gucci's a legend. Mixtape. Damn, now you want to talk about dropping mixtapes like it ain't nothing? Gucci damn near would drop a mixtape every 4 days. Like he just flooded the streets. Like he was really like, I don't want to say it wasn't quality because he has a quality in there, but it was quantity over quality for sure. Like that's not a shot. I'm just saying, like he was really a workaholic in terms of just putting out music, and he was definitely a staple in especially in trap music. When you can't name the best trap rappers without naming Gucci, arguably probably the best, just because of his imprint. Like Gucci, of course, Atlanta. When it comes to Atlanta, one of the best all time. So it's just dope to see Gucci grow through all these years, man, in terms of what he's been through, because man, he's been through a lot. He's been through a lot from a kid, especially in his 20s, going to jail, his beef with Jeezy, all of that. So it's just dope to see him, really just grow and grow as a man. You could tell, him being a father also helped him as well. Him being a father definitely helped him as well. He loved it, even when they talked about his kids, he was just cheesing. And Gucci's 45 years old now. When I was looking, I'm like, damn, bro, time don't really wait for nobody. But that's what I like to see, man. I like to see again our legends and our greats grow with grace. Look themselves in the mirror and say, yeah, I did have a problem. Yes, I did. I do apologize for this. And, even giving others grace, like when he was talking about Thug, how Thug, the record, I miss my dogs. And, he apologized to Gucci and everybody. And Gucci was saying like, yeah, I accepted his apology. I didn't necessarily, want to talk about it. And when he said it, he wasn't saying it with no malice or nothing like that. A lot of times people, accept an apology. We don't really got to have a conversation about it. And, he was also talking about how, he saw other artists and entertainers go through the same thing he went through. And, speaking on basically how you kind of gotta, even though he want to reach out and help them, he understands where they was at when he was in their same position, how they would kind of be turned off on it. So all I can say is, man, with Gucci, man, just salute to him for having that level of accountability, because a lot of people, especially entertainers, because they have a certain type of ego, as if you can't tell them nothing, they're up here, you're down here, who are you, and all that. And especially his wife Keisha, man, because you could tell she's not leaving that guy. She's not. That's a woman that's the epitome of sticking by her man through the lows of the lows. Like, and all it really is just love. That's when I see that, I could just see that's a woman who truly loves her man. And Gucci has a book, and when I get a chance, I'm gonna probably go check that out, man. He got a book called Episodes, basically talking about, because he spoke about, the episodes that he would go through and stuff like that. So, it's real dope to see that Gucci was able to use that as an outlet as well. He was able to use that as an outlet, really speak about all the traumatic episodes that he was going to, because that pretty much was a theme of this interview, was him talking about his episodes where, basically he was spazzing out. If he was talking about this lady at the head of Def Jam, and he told her a little funny story. He told us like, man, if the text start getting crazy, just block me. And Keisha would say the same thing, like, I'll take his phone, I'll delete the apps off his phone, and I tell people, hey, if he start texting you crazy or whatever, block him, just block him. And he get to laughing, but those are the methods and steps that he has to take in order to realize when he's tripping, and he got to get right. And hopefully, he says it's still a process. He still has a lot of work to do, but he also has put in a lot of work. And again, man, that's not easy. That is not easy to do, man. And, if you're somebody who's struggling with a certain level of accountability, man, and you want to ask yourself like, damn, Mike, like, you know, how can I have a certain level of accountability? Number one, it starts with looking yourself in the mirror, saying everything that you know you have a problem with. Everything that's a problem within yourself. That's number one. Number two, you gotta go talk to somebody. A real a real therapist. And I ain't talking about the homie or your grandmother, no disrespect to granny, but somebody you know who ain't gonna hold no punches with you, who don't know you. You need to go really sit down with a real therapist and go talk to them so you can really have that level of accountability and then apply the work on your day to day. Cause an apology and accountability ain't nothing without change behavior. You can say all the words, you can say all the right things, but unless you're going to actually put in the work, it don't mean shit. And I can tell when I'm looking at Gucci, that's somebody who put in the work, and it's a complete 180 from what he was, years ago. Years ago. And again, that rant was insane. But he said he was able to apologize, and he felt so embarrassed. And it's good to see that in a time like that, reflecting now, that you can sit back and be like, yeah, I was wrong for that. I was wrong for that. And a lot of people, pride won't let them. And I've spoken about that before on this podcast with other people. Pride can be the downfall of a lot of people. You really got to sit back and do an evaluation of yourself. Everybody has to do it. I have a level of accountability myself. I spoke about it earlier in the show, like even through my podcast journey. Yes, I could have did more with the previous podcast I was on. That's a fact. I could have did more. I did great work, but I could have exceeded expectation. That goes back to me speaking about how, a kind of a theme throughout my life has being kind of complacent in moments in my life. Again, teachers always saw that I can have the highest and highest of potential. I wasn't the student they looked at and said, "Oh yeah, you won't be nothing." No, it was always Michael. He does this, and then he gets complacent. So that's a level of accountability I always try to maintain within myself. Like when I say, "All right, bro, tighten up. You gotta lock in. You bullshitting." And I always say, "Hey, you either working or you bullshitting. There's no middle. You gotta pick a side." And working entails doing all the work necessary in terms of being better, in terms of what you chasing. If you're trying to get better internally, you're trying to get better with your relationship, you're trying to get better on your job, you're trying to see all the levels, all that entails work. So again, you can say everything that sounds good, but unless you're putting in the work, none of it matters, man. So again, shout out to Gucci, shout out to Keisha for holding him down. That was a great, great interview, man. You got a chance, go check that out. And also shout out to Gucci for his book episodes. I'm gonna probably go purchase that, man, so I can read that. I really want to get more in depth to who Gucci was as a man and as an artist. Me, I wasn't really a big, again, he got some songs that I like, but I can't say that I really was a Gucci fan like that. But he definitely was a pillar in hip hop, definitely when it comes to trap music. So again, salute to them. So speaking of music, Leon Thomas. Boy, Leon Thomas is a bad boy, man. Leon Thomas is a bad boy. Leon Thomas came out with a new album called PHOLKS. That's with a PH at the beginning. And man, this nigga again, Leon Thomas is not missing. I said this earlier this year. Leon Thomas is the best male R&B artist right now in the game, and I still stand by that months later. Like this nigga album is great, man. He got an album again called PHOLKS. 7-track album. Just How You Are, My Muse, 5 More Minutes, Trapped, Baccarat, Feel Alive, Lone Wolf. My favorite track off this album is 5 More Minutes. That shit is amazing. That shit is amazing. I probably played that track the most so far throughout this project. Feel Alive is another one of my favorites. My Muse, fire. Just How You Are at the beginning as well. Another dope record. They got a dope video as well. So Leon Thomas is again just continuing to just get busy. Get busy. This nigga is not, he ain't letting his foot up off the gas, man. So if you got a chance, man, please go check out this album. Because this nigga is not playing around. Again, it's called PHOLKS. He just dropped it on Friday. And I'm interested to see if he's really going to continue to, go on this run, man, in terms of putting out another project. I know we coming up on the end of this year, so going into next year, I know he's been touring as well. He been doing this thing touring. And him and O'Deal had a record on one of O'Deal's his most recent project, and that song was a banger. I want to actually see if him and I think that would be a dope collab album. I think him and O'Deal would have a dope collab album. I know a lot of times we don't really get collaborative albums from R&B artists, but I would love to hear O'Deal and Leon Thomas on a collaborative album. I think their sounds mesh, their voices mesh. I think that would be a very, very dope project, man. If Leon Thomas and O'Deal, and if you know who O'Deal is, he's kind of like a new artist from the UK. I kind of say he's like UK version of Brent Faiyaz. That nigga is dope, real nice. Actually, him and Wale got a new record out together. I gotta check that out. I kind of heard a snippet of it, but I didn't really get to hear it in full. But I think Leon Thomas and O'Deal would have a dope record, man. A dope collaborative album. So again, if you get a chance, check out Folks, man. 5 more minutes. I fuck with that shit, man. I fuck with that shit. That nigga Leon Thomas is not fucking around, bro. That nigga is he got his hands on the R&B game right now, dog. That nigga is not bullshitting. Not bullshitting around, man. So salute to Leon Thomas, man, for that dope project, man. So moving on next, man. Moving on. So this has kind of been some big news in the media over the last I think over the last week or so, but this has been a talking point for consistency throughout the year as far as sports media. Stephen A. and LeBron James. So, Stephen A. Smith has been kind of, sitting on other platforms talking about how he don't like LeBron, why he doesn't like LeBron, why it went, how it went. Not really saying the why, because he says things like, this guy has done things to kind of derail me. He don't really go into details and nothing like that. So I'm not really here to deep dive on the Stephen A. LeBron thing, because I understand that they don't fuck with each other. They don't like each other. Cool, understandable. At the end of the day, Stephen A. Smith, as the media member, he should have took the high road in this whole ordeal. The reason being is that regardless of the fact, you will never be bigger than an athlete. Both of y'all are big in your respective fields, yes. But in terms of y'all two, you'll never be bigger than the athlete. And this just don't go for Stephen A. This go for other media members and athletes. Media members and athletes, when it comes to this clash, it's never beneficial. It's never beneficial, and it should never go public. Yes, I did not like the way LeBron approached Stephen A. Smith at the game. I didn't like how he handled that situation at all, and I stand by that. But Stephen A., that happened in January. Here we are in November, and we're still talking about it, and that tells me that you have not let it go, and that you're still kind of somewhat chasing the moment, and you're still trying to prove your bravado in terms of, oh, I'm not pussy, or whatever the case may be. Bro, just let it go. Because from that point up until now, obviously y'all ain't had no conversation, so leave it dead. If y'all don't fuck with each other, stop talking about this shit. Leave it the fuck alone. Because none of y'all are gonna really go sit down and have no conversation like you should have did when the shit initially happened. But if y'all know that y'all don't fuck with each other, just leave it alone, bro. Don't talk about it publicly. And that's fine. There's probably plenty of media members and athletes who don't get along, and you don't have to talk about it. And I need this to be a lesson. For media members and athletes. That, bro, you're not always going to agree. You're not. Media members are not always going to agree with athletes, and athletes are not always going to agree with media members. But collectively, to make this shit work and for it to be productive, you can't have public spats like this. It's just unnecessary. It doesn't make sense. Stephen A. Smith is damn near 20 years older than LeBron James. You old enough to be this man's pops, bro. Take the high road. Take the high road, bro. Regardless of how you feel, how he felt about it, you didn't take the opportunity after that to go sit down and talk to him, because if you did, you would have said that on these interviews that you haven't. Hey, me and LeBron talked. I'm not going into details. We hashed it out. Next question. It's that simple. It's that simple. I would never get on no public platform and talk about any dispute that I have with anybody. And if I'm asked, I'm like, we had a conversation about it. That's all I'm going to say. And you're going to leave it alone. Because that's what fuels the unnecessary shit. Everybody ready to, see war. That's really what it is. They ready for the clickbaity shit. Stephen A. LeBron come on, oh, these niggas must be beefing again. Niggas don't want to hear about that shit. And messiness is unnecessary. It's the unnecessary 15 minutes. It's the unnecessary talking points. So if you're gonna go sit on somebody else's podcast, bro, just leave that topic alone. Cause like I said, that shit was back in January. What happened? What happened? Again, I didn't like the way that LeBron handled that situation. But if y'all wasn't able to have a conversation post that, and you know that, leave the topic alone, especially if you know y'all still don't like each other. Because all it's going to do is add to the fire. That's all it's going to do. All it's going to do is continue to add to the fucking fire. That's all it's going to do. And let this be a lesson for athletes and media members, bro. We don't all got to get along. We all don't got to like each other. We all are here to do a job at the end of the day. If you know an athlete is not doesn't have a likeness to you, bro, just keep it professional as much as you can. Ask questions about the game and keep it fucking pushing. That's it. Athletes, don't go out your way to try to disrespect and talk about a media member either, because they deserve a certain level of respect. Because what athletes love to do, as much as they try to deny it, they do have a high level for media high level of respect for media members, as much as they try to discount it. You know how I know why? Because as soon as y'all niggas stop playing basketball or football, you trying to get your ass into the media game. And a lot of y'all do that. But they got a certain level of expertise too. They have credentials too. It's not as easy as retiring from basketball and football and then just go sit on a platform and start talking. No, it's not that easy, and I stand by that. Because a lot of what the athletes say don't always be true. And a lot of times they pushing narratives because they're trying to push back on media for what they did to them while they was playing. That's another part of it too that athletes won't be honest about. See, a lot of the times the athletes are jumping into the media pool because they feel some type of way about how they was treated by the media when they was playing. So now they want to jump in the media game and start narratives, or they want to be pro player and be biased and not really giving it up how they're supposed to be giving it up. And I know it to be true because Chad Johnson has spoken about that. See, Chad is great at what he does. Don't get me wrong. Chad Johnson is great at what he does. But he has said, like, he does not like critiquing players. He said it. He don't like critiquing players because he's played. Okay, bro, cool. But there is and needs to be room for critique. And critique don't mean that a motherfucker is hating on you neither. That's another thing, bro. If you're playing bad, the media member is well within the right to say you play bad. But I'm not a guy who says, continuously pointing out that a player is playing bad, especially if they're getting better. If you're continuously playing bad, I don't got to keep saying it 7 times. I can say it for the times that you playing bad, and then I'm a find a solution, which might be you either getting released or you getting traded. It's one of the two. But I don't got to keep punching on you neither. So I ain't going to do that. So media members and athletes need to get to a better place because you're all in this ecosystem together. You can't avoid each other. Everybody has contracts in place. And you're going to have to engage with each other. That's just what it is. And that's what it's going to be. As much as the athletes, and I feel like a lot of the athletes feel like, the game probably would be better without media members or certain media members. Okay, cool. But I do feel like a lot of the times the players don't want to have a certain level of accountability. They don't. That's why some of them defend each other the way that they do. Because if we had football and basketball without media members, my God, ain't no telling what the narratives would be if the players was dictating it. And I'm not saying the players shouldn't have a voice. 100% they should have a voice. But it got to be a balance. And you got to cut out the extra fat. And that extra fat being this unnecessary drama, bro. Because it don't benefit nobody. Again, that shit with Stephen A. and LeBron was in January, my nigga. Let it go. Let it go, bro. Because essentially, what it's going to boil down to is fisticuffs. And LeBron and Stephen ain't about to fight. We can go ahead and dead that. My nigga, you 60 years old. LeBron 40. What are we doing? But Stephen A does have I could tell that he has a certain level of insecurity in terms of, his ego, because he keeps, You could tell in his posture. Him talking about getting in the gym. Oh, my shoulder was messed up when I was boxing. I'm like, bro, it's okay, bro. Nobody's saying you gotta puff up to LeBron or fight LeBron. Like, no, bro, you can still be a man, but it's a certain way you gotta handle it. Everything boils back to how you handle shit. I always say that. It's all about how you handle it, bro. So again, bro, when it comes to that, dead it, bro. I don't want to see no more Stephen A. LeBron talks from either party. LeBron don't really talk, so I ain't really getting on him in terms of that. Because it was interesting in that time frame too, because also was the Russell Westbrook excerpt that came out in terms of his book and how LeBron and him moving he really don't get down with the fake shit. I don't really got too much for that, because for me, I really just like talking about the game. Russell Westbrook experience is his experience with LeBron. I mean, yes, that has been a common theme around LeBron, that he kind of like to stretch the truth. Jalen Ramsey kind of had a funny moment with him when they was on the podcast talking about, like, LeBron was talking about a Madden play or something like that, and Ramsey was like, hey, bro, and them boys say you be kind of capping sometimes. So, what I seen probably ain't kind of far from what to be true. What I will say is, though, I do fear Russell Westbrook on the terms of the whole Kyrie Irving thing. So if you remember, LeBron sat down with Wilbon, and he actually was advocating for, Kyrie Irving to come to, the Lakers while Russell Westbrook was there, which would mean trading Russell Westbrook for Kyrie Irving. You don't do that. Under no circumstances do you do that. I just seen it recently with Woody Johnson calling out Justin Fields in terms of, his bad quarterback play and you don't do that. I've been critical and, vocal about Justin Fields as a quarterback and how bad his play is, also with quarterback of my team, Bryce Young. But if I'm a coach and I'm a player, under no circumstances do you advocate for another player to replace said player while they're on the team. You don't do that publicly. You never do that. That's a no-no. You just don't do that. So I feel Russell Westbrook on that. Like, that was nasty on LeBron's part. You don't do shit like that. You just don't do that. And he know better. But all that other stuff, I really don't care for, bro. It's again, Stephen A. LeBron, you don't like each other, leave it alone. Just leave it the fuck alone. That's it. That's all I have to say about that, really. So moving on, some other news surrounding the NBA that happened this week. Man, the feds is coming down on you niggas. These niggas is tripping, bro. I don't understand. This sports betting shit, this gambling shit. And I try to tell niggas didn't want to listen. These niggas not fucking around. I spoke about this recently with Michael Porter Jr. some podcast episodes ago, bro. So, on this was what, Tuesday? Chauncey Billups got locked up. Damon Jones got locked up. Terry Rozier got locked up. I think all of them made bail. Surrounding this gambling ring. I'm gonna start off with Chauncey Billups first. So basically, these niggas got picked up. This FBI probe in terms of illegal poker games being had and all type of shit. So the details from the rigged poker games involving Damon Jones and Chauncey Billups. X-ray machines built in the tables to read face down cards, contact lenses / glasses that read pre-marked cards, secret cameras in card trays. So basically, this is some nasty shit. So basically, they had like some Inspector Gadget glasses, I Spy glasses, to basically rig these games and shit like that. And, these niggas was getting over, bruh. And what's so sad about all of this? These niggas are well off. I always go back to this. These are like not no niggas on the streets who hustling, who trying to get to a bag. These niggas are well off. These niggas are well off, bro. Like, and let me start out by saying this. Gambling is not the problem. I'm a nigga who don't gamble. And I said this before. I got plenty of homies who do parlays, all that. I don't do that. I don't have a problem with that. And I don't even have a problem with it being in the game. It's you using your senses. And what's fucking up this gambling shit is Lack of integrity and greed. That's all it goes back to. Lack of integrity and greed. Play the game the right way, bro. That's it. On all facets. In all facets. Poker games, parlays. You niggas is still betting on the games that you play. Terry Rozier, I'm going to get on that a little later. Instead of you just taking your money and go bet on another sport. You're trying to manipulate the game. But again, you're not going to come out on top of this shit because these niggas is watching. And you will go down. And your funky ass going to go to jail. And you're going to have to blame nobody but yourself. But this shit is amazing, bro. This shit is fucking amazing. It's the stupidity, bro. But with Chauncey and Damon, this shit is insane. Like, you having pre-marked cards and all this other shit. It's crazy. Let me play this clip from this FBI agent who basically is speaking about, this operation.
But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today. Former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchesi crime families. And you'll hear more about those details today. The charges and the arrests that were taken down across this country range from wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, illegal gambling. And the fraud is mind-boggling. It's not hundreds of dollars. It's not thousands of dollars. It's not tens of thousands of dollars. It's not even millions of dollars. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery.
This is insane, bro. This is fucking ridiculous. But the only thing I want to know is too, because I noticed you got all the black coaches and players as the forefront for this, but you just mentioned the mafia's name within this whole indictment. Where are they pictures at? Where are their faces at? I did notice that. So we need to see them too. But this whole shit is just dumb. Again, it derails your mission. It's a selfish move because now your family is affected. It affects your bottom line. And the fact that this happened in the opening week, oh man. This was mapped out. This is mapped out. And also in terms of Damon Jones, excuse me, y'all. In terms of Damon Jones, he also was fucking around on not just the poker games, but NBA games. So Damon Jones, former teammate, assistant coach, and longtime friend of LeBron James, was also arrested by the FBI for his role in the illegal sports betting ring. Details of LeBron James' injury status was sold by his pal and former Los Angeles Lakers coach Damon Jones as a part of a massive prop betting scheme, according to court docs and law enforcement sources. Jones, an ex-Cleveland Cavs player and unofficial assistant coach for the Lakers during the 2022-2023 season, sent a message to one of the betting ring members on February 9, 2023, urging him to place a large bet on the Lakers' opponent, the Milwaukee Bucks, because James would be out with an injury that night, sources told the Post. Get a big bet on Milwaukee tonight before the information is out, Jones texted, according to the indictment. The player, whose sources identified as James, did not play after reporting a lower body injury, and the Lakers lost. So basically, he would get information in terms of, LeBron James, LeBron telling him if he would be out of shit like that. And I don't think LeBron, it's a funny talking point, but I don't think LeBron knew what he was doing for real. But ultimately, Damon Jones is stupid because now you done burnt the bridge as far as your relationship with LeBron James, dummy. Like just even have his name involved with this, because we all know LeBron is very brand conscious. He don't fuck around when it comes to his name and, faulty shit being on his name. But this is just fucking stupid. And I just want to know, how long do niggas think they was gonna get away with shit like this? I wanted to know how long y'all niggas thought that you was gonna get away with some shit like this. It's just all nasty. And you know what makes it even more sad is that I even heard that these niggas was getting hold in these poker games. I heard these niggas getting hold in the poker games. Let me play this clip from this dude named, because you know also ESPN, you know, they be having the World Series of Poker and all the shit going. Because again, I'm not saying it's not a place for gambling. It's definitely a place for gambling. And also with the level of security and technology today, I don't think you could really cheat, especially in terms if it's gonna be on TV, like with these poker games. Like they got all this shit in place, bro. They know what the fuck is going on with you dudes. Let me play this. This is a poker player named Matt Berkey. He told a story about how he heard people playing poker with Chauncey Billups. He said he knew Billups was scamming and stealing money from an illegal gambling ring. Let me play this clip. It's 4 minutes. I ain't gonna play the whole shit.
And then you send it in, you get your little toy.
God, kids are so manipulated.
Man, to touch on Benny real quick, like this, like his attitude at the game, he was always just like so semi-happy, semi-grumpy, and like, man, I would have never thought we were being cheated by this man this whole time. Like if he didn't just like completely smash the game,
Played the shit rag to a T.
Right.
yeah, like the absolute perfect shit rag.
Yeah.
Man. Interesting.
Yeah. Cheating's bad, okay?
It is.
There are a lot of stories about it. There's one that cropped up. This must have been like 5 years ago, 2019-ish, I think, 4 years ago. Where there was this game. It started in LA and then it came to Vegas for a few days, and it was all built around Chauncey Billups. And I had heard about the game, and the person who told me about it was like, "Look, I know the game runners. I'm telling you 100% this game is on the up and up." And I was like, "Well, I know a lot of the people that are involved, and I'm telling you 100% that it is not on the up and up."
Yeah.
And, you know, we kind of went back and forth, and I agreed that, like, I just wasn't going to go play it. But I had some friends who went and played it both in LA and in Vegas. And it obviously, like, was for sure confirmed to be cheated. Mm-hmm. Like, people who clearly didn't even understand the rules of No Limit Hold'em are just, like, jamming hundreds of big blinds in with, like, a gutty. And then just drilling it. Yeah. Only the pros are losing. Like,
how is it figured out? Like, it just.
I can't remember if this was the game where.
No. Over the loudspeaker?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
That was Pierre.
Oh, okay. Well, it's still. I mean, it's not like Chauncey and Pierce don't know each other. You know. I feel like it's probably the same crowd overlapping there,
gotcha.
But maybe not. Either way, it was basically confirmed amongst all of the pros that the game was cheated, but there's just no.
Hey man, listen, like if you go online, you could see more from this, but hey, and then also I heard, because somebody sent me this the other day. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find it. Somebody sent me something about KG. Oh, so Kevin Garnett was reportedly among the former pro athletes who played in private poker games organized by the individuals indicted in the DOJ's Operation Royal Flush. So, hey, man, these... and if you remember, I spoke about this on a few pods ago, too. Gilbert Arenas, when he got picked up, Gilbert Arenas said something. I said it then. Gilbert Arenas definitely said something. I haven't heard what Gilbert has to say because I really don't watch a show like that. But I'm pretty sure Gilbert had to give them some type of tip, bro. I'm rolling with that for sure. I'm definitely rolling with it. But, bro, it's all about the integrity and greed at the end of the day. Lack of integrity and greed is why these niggas are all in the situation that they're in right now. Chauncey Billups and Damon, greed. You niggas is NBA vets. You done made plenty of money. Terry Rozier, this nigga. The FBI says Terry Rozier told people close to him that he leave the game early and bet his unders. Over $200K was placed on him in the 2023 game. He checked out at the 9 minutes with a foot injury. Doesn't make any sense. And the NBA did do their own investigation into Terry Rozier and cleared him. But I still thought it was kind of funny. Like, all right, nah. So the FBI done seen something. FBI done seen something. So for them to spin the block after the NBA done did their own investigation, yeah, something wasn't right. It just all doesn't make sense. It all doesn't make sense. And we just ain't seen this in basketball. We seen this in football too. Lack of integrity and greed is going to derail all you niggas. Simple as put. Lack of integrity and greed is going to ruin all you niggas. Especially you motherfuckers in the NBA who, you know, y'all contracts are the highest of the highest. It's not worth it, bro. It's really not worth it. It's you as a role player could be making generational money, bro. And you want to throw it all away for a fucking 10-leg parlay for 200 bands? You make that in the game check. Come on, bro. Like, this shit doesn't make any sense. So I'm interested to see how this shit is going to play out because this some nasty shit. Terry Rozier's attorney said, we have represented Terry Rozier for over a year. A long time ago, we reached out to these prosecutors to tell them that we should have an open line of communication. They characterized Terry as a subject, not a target. But at 6 a.m. this morning, they called me to tell me FBI agents were trying to arrest him in a hotel. It is unfortunate that instead of allowing himself to surrender, they opted for a photo op. They wanted to misplace glory of embarrassing a professional athlete with a perp walk. That tells you a lot about the motivations in this case. They appear to be taking the word of speculatory, incredible sources rather than relying on actual evidence of wrongdoing. Terry was cleared by the NBA, and these prosecutors revived that non-case. Terry is not a gambler, but he is not afraid of a fight, and he looks forward to winning this fight, but he's not afraid of a fight. Bruh, he's a gambler. He's a gambler. He's a gambler. We don't got to play around. He's a gambler. I believe Terry Rozier to be a gambler, especially off some of the highlights I done seen. Some of this shit is undeniable. Like, in terms of the actual players who play in the games, some of this shit that these niggas be doing, like Michael Porter Jr.'s brother, obvious on tape what he was doing. Obvious on tape what he was doing. That Charlotte Hornets game, that famous clip that's going around with Terry Rozier, is obvious what he was doing. Him turning the ball over like that. Like, bro, what are you doing? And this is something that's not new. Trust me. Please go do your research. The Arizona State player from 1994, I can't think of dog's name right now. But you can go just type in Arizona State college basketball player, 1994. I cannot think of his name right now. This should go way back. Way back. But niggas don't learn their fucking lesson because they so fucking greedy. They just so damn greedy. It doesn't make any sense, bro. So I'm interested to see how this shit is going to play out. It's just ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. Bro, go play your poker games. Go get busy. It don't got to be illegal. Because in the long term, it's never going to be beneficial. You're going to fuck yourself up. You're going to fuck your family up. And then on Damon and Chauncey, y'all coaches. So that don't even, it don't even make more, it don't even make even more sense for them to. Because you done made all your NBA money. Now you getting coaching NBA money. Why? Terry Rozier, current NBA player, same shit. You done been in the league damn near 10 years now. Still making bread. Fortunate to be making bread because the average NBA career is 3 years. So you done passed that. You done exceeded that. And you still out here fucking around with this gambling shit. Niggas, and again, a lot of people are saying that, you know, it was a mistake that the sports leagues have gotten in bed with these gambling companies, which I agree with. And I've been vocal about that. They should have never got in bed with them. But also in terms as a player, and I stand by this, what's done is done. They are in bed with these gambling companies. Understand. Put that to the side. You as a player have to understand you will get caught. Because I don't care what type of deal they have in place. You as a player know better to get out here and try to finesse the system by betting on the sport that you play. So yes, granted, from a moral standpoint, the NBA and NFL shouldn't be having the issues that they have. But there still is a level of integrity and do right that can be had while having these deals in place. Again, there's nothing wrong with gambling, bro. It's not. But you can't sacrifice integrity when it comes to it. Gambling has been around. It will continue to be around. We see the deals that these betting companies are handing out: Underdog, Prize Picks, FanDuel. All FanDuel got their own fucking show. And you know what's so funny? When they was talking about on Get Up, I did catch this. They had the ESPN bet at the bottom. When it was actually breaking news and they was talking about it, man, them niggas took that shit off the screen. So they know there's some funny shit going on, and they know that essentially they shouldn't be in bed with these companies doing this shit. But what is the bottom line at the end of the day? Money. That's why I always tell y'all, NFL and NBA don't give a fuck about nothing else before they give a fuck about that money. Money comes first. Everything else is secondary. And some shit is at the bottom of the fucking totem pole. But money always come first. If it can lead to them getting more money, they are going to do it. Fuck morals. They don't give a fuck about morals. Money is first. I don't care how good Roger Goodell talks. I don't care how good Adam Silver talks. Money is the play at the end of the day. Point blank period. And we all know the average American is, in terms of sports betting, oh, they gonna give y'all that bread. They gonna give y'all that fucking money. They can go up here and put up all these little props and all this other shit prior to games and all, and y'all gonna run y'all asses, and y'all gonna use that shit. Use all that, and I'm not saying nothing is wrong with it. But if you're the NBA and NFL, you kind of got to look at it like, we kind of have a hand in it. And y'all do. Because I know some niggas who do this shit, with integrity. They do. Shout out my nigga Sosa. Sosa, he has a sports betting show that he does every weekly. So there is a proper way to go about it. But you can't sacrifice the integrity, man. You just can't do it. So the opening week of the NBA has been going crazy. I mean, Wemby showing his ass off. Luka showing his ass off. Motherfuckers just getting busy. I mean, just, oh my goodness. Luka in his first 2 games going fucking insane, bro. But I found something interesting. So last night after the Mavericks lost to the Wizards, I've seen niggas having AD talks. Now, when this trade first happened back in January, I said up here and I said, this is the worst trade of all time. And 9 months later, I stand by that. 10 months later, excuse me. I stand by that. This still is the worst trade of all time. Y'all already having AD trade talks. I seen the tweet like, would they trade AD and Cooper Flag to get Luka back? Man, please, knock it off. I don't want to hear it. I want to read this interesting stat. In the first 2 games of the regular season, Luka Doncic has generated more points, rebounds, and assists, 131, than Anthony Davis, Cooper Flag, Klay Thompson, and Derek Lively combined, 127. That's insane. First of all, shout out to Luka for being on an absolute tear. I told y'all he was coming to wreck this shit. I know the averages are obviously going to come down some, but I still think he's going to average 32, 9, and 9. But I expected this from Luka. You didn't get full value for that nigga in this trade. You didn't. You traded for a 32-year-old AD who's injury prone because you didn't like a guy. And niggas need to be more honest, but instead of being honest, y'all want to play in niggas' faces and say somehow because you dislike Luka, you won't admit that you don't like Luka. Instead of saying I dislike Luka, that's the reason why I'm advocating for this trade. Instead of saying that, you want to play in people's faces and say that, oh, somehow the Mavericks won this trade. They're a title favorite. They're not a fucking title favorite. They're not. And they didn't get full value for this trade. And in no world, in no circumstances, do you trade a 25-year-old, arguably the best player in the league, for a 32-year-old Anthony Davis. You don't do it under no circumstances. But this trade was done out of feelings. Nico Harrison was in his feelings. And he will never admit that neither. But that was a feelings move, and he should have lost his job behind that trade. But long term, the Lakers won this trade. And in the short term and long term, the Mavericks lost this trade. Now, granted, you got lucky, you got Cooper Flag, so which had nothing to do with this trade, but you got Cooper Flag. So it somewhat softened the blow. But under no circumstances did the Mavericks win that trade, bro. And y'all niggas need to stop fucking lying to yourself, all because you don't like that nigga. That's it. You just don't like Luka, bro. Stop lying to yourself saying that the Mavericks won this trade because you don't like Luka, bro. That's it. The Lakers are going to come out on top of it when it's all said and done because they're getting the production that you are expected to get out of arguably the best player in the league at 25, 26 years old. That's insane, bro. That's insane. So, okay, it's very early in the season, but I just found that interesting. Also, another thing, you niggas need to shut the fuck up about SGA's free throws. Enough is enough. And shout out to James Harden. James Harden is an NBA god. Just for this discourse alone. Because it all started with him. And I don't care what nobody say. Drawing fouls is a skill. And any real basketball knower knows that. Drawing fouls is a skill. Get to the line. Y'all just don't like who certain players do it. That's what it all really boiled down to. Y'all just don't like certain players who did it. All the greats have done it. My GOAT, he has done it. Pump fake, draw the foul. Dwayne Wade, notorious for it. Kobe, notorious for it. Y'all just don't like certain players who do it. And you nitpick. I don't respect shit like that. I don't give a fuck if SGA had 26 free throws in the game. It is what it is. He knows how to play the game, and he's very smart. Pump fake, certain footwork, getting defenders in the air. It is what it is, bro. But stop acting like y'all having this conversation in good faith, bro. Because y'all not. Y'all care about who doing it, not the actual act of drawing the foul. Because, again, drawing fouls is a skill. And that's all it is at the end of the day. It's a fucking skill. And I'm not having no arguments about it. You either recognize that it's a skill or you don't. And if you don't recognize it as a skill, I don't want to have basketball conversations with you. Point blank, period. But I seen that on the already. Already, niggas talking, SGA has the best whistle. Bro, it is what it is. Stop fouling the motherfucker. And the NBA has already implemented rules that they can't get all certain shit no more. So the jumping into defender shit, they're not calling that no more. You niggas is fouling for real. You just don't like the clip at what he's getting to the line at with it. He know what you niggas doing. He know you gonna reach right here and he know to go up. If you reaching and not go up, it's a foul. Do better defensively. That's all you can really say. I've always been an advocate for getting to the line. Always. And I'm not nitpicking about who doing it neither. Because again, drawing fouls is a skill. Point blank, period. So that's pretty much all I got for this week, man. Again, I want to thank y'all for tapping in with me, man. Again, 25 straight weeks in this motherfucker, man. It's going to be 25 more after that, 25 more after that, 25 more after that. I'm going to continue to run this thing up. Again, get y'all ass in the gym. Continue to get your ass in that gym. Continue to strive towards your goals. Get busy. And ultimately, please be safe. So like I say every week, man, this is I'm Not Repeating Myself podcast. I'm your host, Mike. And I hope you heard what I said the first time because I'm not repeating myself. I'm out.